buzzer screamed like a gut punch, slicing through the roar of the packed arena, and I stood there frozen, sweat stinging my eyes, the ball still bouncing away from my fingertips as if it knew I'd just stolen his dream. Ethan collapsed to his knees right in front of me, his broad shoulders heaving, face buried in his hands. Not in defeat, but in something rawer, like the world had just cracked open his chest and left everything bleeding out on the court. "Why now?" he choked out, voice muffled but piercing. Those blue eyes lifting to mine for a split second, shattered and searching, pulling me into a storm I never saw coming. I'd spent 4 years hating him, or at least telling myself it was hate. Ethan Hale, the golden boy of UCLA's basketball team, all sharp jawline and effortless grace. The guy who dunked on freshmen like they were standing still and trash-talked with a smirk that made you want to either kiss him or knock him out. We were rivals from the jump, freshmen thrown into the fire of Pac-12 wars, battling for every starting spot, every scout's nod, every scrap of glory under those brutal California lights. Our teams, mine at USC, his at UCLA, turned the Staples Center into a coliseum every February. Fans chanting like gladiators, and we'd circle each other like wolves, bodies slamming, elbows flying, eyes locked in that electric hate that felt too alive to be just anger. But tonight, in the dying seconds of the conference championship, it all flipped. I'd crossed over him, feinted left, spun right, buried the three that sealed USC's first title in a decade. The crowd erupted, my teammates piling on me in a sweaty dog pile. But through the chaos, I saw him. Not the cocky Ethan who once whispered "fairy" under his breath after I missed a free throw, thinking no one heard. Not the one who'd leaked that bullshit rumor to the locker room about me being too soft for the league, code for the whispers about my sexuality that I'd buried deeper than my jump shot form. No, this was a guy unraveling, jersey-soaked, the weight of his senior year crashing down because one bad bounce, one sliver of a second, and it was over. His pro dreams, dangling by a thread now, scouts scribbling notes on choker instead of clutch. I should have walked away, pumped my fist, hugged Coach Ramirez, let the adrenaline carry me to the podium. But something in his broken stare hooked me, like a line cast into dark water, and before I knew it, I was shoving through my celebrating squad, dropping to one knee beside him. The arena noise faded to a dull hum, just us on that glossy hardwood island. "Hey," I said, voice rough from shouting plays all night, my hand hovering before landing awkward on his back. "It's not. Fuck, Ethan, it's not the end." He flinched like I'd burned him, but didn't pull away. Up close, he smelled like Gatorade and desperation, those freckles across his nose stark against flushed skin. "Get off me, Reyes," he muttered. But there was no venom, just exhaustion. Reyes, my last name, spat like a curse in every post-game interview. But now it hung soft, almost pleading. I didn't move, couldn't, because in that moment, with the confetti cannons priming overhead and the Jumbotron replaying my shot on loop, I saw it. The kid behind the armor, the one who'd grown up in some nowhere Ohio town, scraping for every scholarship dollar, just like me from the barrios of East LA. The refs were herding players off, officials barking about the trophy ceremony, but I stayed planted. "Come on," I said, gripping his elbow, hauling him up with a strength born from too many late-night lifts. He resisted for a beat, then sagged against me, taller by an inch but feeling smaller, his breath hot on my neck. We stumbled off the court like that, past the flashing cameras, headlines already brewing, "Reyes rips Bruins heart," into the tunnel's dim echo. Security eyed us funny, but I waved them off, steering him toward the visitors' locker room, empty now except for the ghosts of halftime pep talks. Inside, the fluorescent buzz was merciless, lockers gaping like open wounds. Ethan slumped onto a bench, head in hands again, and I grabbed 2 water bottles from the cooler, the cold plastic grounding me. I sat beside him, not too close, but close enough that our knees brushed, sending a stupid spark up my thigh. "Talk to me," I said, capping my bottle without drinking. "What's really eating you?" "Because this," I gestured vaguely at the door, the distant cheers. "This is just one game." He laughed, bitter and wet, wiping his face with his jersey sleeve. "One game? It's everything, man. Dad's cancer came back last month. Stage for this time. He flew out for this, sat in the front row like it was his last hurrah. And I blow it. For him. For Mom, who's working doubles at the diner to pay for my future. His voice cracked on future, and damn if it didn't twist something in my gut. Ethan's family. I'd pieced it together from snippets, post-game chatter, the way he'd zone out during warm-up staring at his phone. Small-town values, church every Sunday, the kind that made coming out feel like signing your own exile papers. I nodded, slow, the pieces slotting in. My own dad had bailed when I was 10, left Mom with 3 kids and a factory job that chewed her up. Basketball was my ticket out, same as his. My sister's getting married next year. I found myself saying, words spilling unbidden. To this asshole accountant who thinks I'm unstable, because I haven't settled down. But tonight, I did it for her. For the little ones back home who need to see a brown kid from the hood hoist that trophy. I paused, the weight of it settling. Doesn't make the losses sting less, though. He looked at me then. Really looked, those eyes clearing like fog burning off the Pacific. You get it, he whispered, and it wasn't a question. The air thickened, charged like pre-tip-off, but softer, laced with something unspoken. I'd always known I was gay. Figured it out at 15, fumbling through crushes on teammates, burying it under protein shakes and pickup games. Ethan, the rumors swirled both ways. The girls he dated for show, the way he'd linger in the showers a beat too long. But here, in the quiet aftermath, it didn't matter. We were just 2 guys, stripped bare by the scoreboard. We talked for an hour, maybe 2, time blurred in that concrete cocoon. He confessed the pressure, the scouts who'd pulled offers after a string of L's, the fear that Dad's pride was the only thing holding the old man together. I spilled about the isolation, the locker room jabs that cut deeper than fouls, the nights I'd lie awake wondering if the league had room for someone like me. Laughter crept in, tentative at first, him mimicking coach hails, no relation, sideline meltdowns. Me recounting the time I'd airballed a half-court heave in high school and blamed the rim. By the end, his shoulders had eased, color back in his cheeks, and when he stood to leave, he clapped my shoulder, solid, lingering. Thanks, Reyes. Alex. Didn't think you'd be the one to pull me out of it. Anytime, I said, and meant it, my heart thudding traitorously as our eyes held. He walked out first, back straight now, and I watched him go, the tunnel swallowing him whole. Little did I know that night was just the opening tip. The weeks after the championship blurred into a haze of media scrums and spring training grind. USC's campus buzzed with parade floats and booster barbecues. My face plastered on every billboard from Westwood to downtown. Reyes. The shot heard round the conference. But glory's a fickle bitch. It fills you up quick, then leaves you hollow when the confetti settles. I'd catch myself scanning UCLA's roster updates, Ethan's name jumping out like a flare. No pro offers yet, whispers said, but he'd posted a cryptic Insta story. A faded photo of him and his dad courtside, captioned round 2. It gnawed at me, that pull, like a loose thread on my jersey I couldn't stop tugging. We crossed paths again at the annual Pac-12 Charity Classic in Phoenix. A no-stakes exhibition for some kids' foundation, all smiles and signed sneakers. I spotted him across the hotel lobby, laughing with a cluster of Bruins alums, that easy charisma on full blast. Our eyes met over a mimosa flute, and he froze mid-sentence, then broke into a grin, genuine, disarming, the kind that crinkled his eyes and made my stomach flip like a bad crossover. Reyes, he called, weaving through the crowd, pulling me into a bro hug that pressed too close, his cologne, cedar and citrus, lingering like a promise. Fancy seeing the enemy in friendly territory. Truce for the tots? I quipped, nodding at the event banner. We fell into step, grabbing coffees from the overpriced stand, the desert sun blasting through floor-to-ceiling windows. Conversation flowed easy, like we'd been shooting the shit for years, not clawing at each other's throats. He asked about my off-season, AU camps in Oakland, working with inner-city kids on fundamentals, and I grilled him on UCLA's rebuild, the freshman phenom stepping up. But under it, the undercurrent simmered. That night in the locker room, the vulnerability we'd traded like contraband. You see Dad last week? I ventured, stirring my black drip. How's he holding? Ethan's fork paused over his hotel muffin, crumbs scattering. Chemo kicked his ass, but he's tough. Watched the replay of your shot 100 times. Said you had ice in your veins, like Kobe. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Wants me to shake your hand next time we play. Call it even. The irony twisted like a sprained ankle. Kobe, LA's patron saint, out and proud in his own coded way. I swallowed, heat creeping up my neck. Tell him thanks. And if you need anything, tickets, whatever, doors open. He studied me, head tilted, that gaze peeling layers I kept fortified. Why are you being nice to me, Alex? After everything, the trash talk, the rumors. I was a dick. The lobby chatter faded. Just us in our bubble. Because life's too short for dick measuring contests. I said, half joking, but my pulse hammered. And maybe, I see a little of me in you. The fight, the fear. He leaned in, voice low. Fear of what? Losing. Of being seen. Really seen. The words hung heavy as a game winner, and for a heartbeat I thought he'd bolt. Instead, he nodded. Slow, like he'd been waiting for permission. The game that night was a laugher. Combined score pushing 200, dunks for days. The crowd a sea of face paint and foam fingers. We guarded each other in spurts, bodies colliding in that familiar rhythm. Hip check, shoulder shove, stolen glances when the ref's back turned. But it was different now, playful jabs instead of cheap shots, a wink after I swatted his layup that said not bad instead of you're done. Post-game, in the mixed locker room, charity rules, all one big happy family. He cornered me by the sinks, towel slung low on his hips, steam curling from the showers. Drinks later? He asked, casual as post-up drills, but his eyes were anything but. Non-alcoholic. Dad's watching his sodium. I hesitated, teammates milling, my phone buzzing with a text from Mom about the parade float, but nodded. Rooftop bar. 8. The Phoenix skyline glittered like scattered diamonds. Monsoon season's threat hanging in the humid air. We claimed a corner table, city lights sprawling below, nursing sodas and swapping stories that veered from hoops to heart. He opened up more. The Ohio winters where he'd shovel driveways for gas money. The first time he'd kissed a boy behind the bleachers at junior prom. Stolen, scared, never spoken of again. Felt like flying, he said, staring into his ginger ale. Then crashing. Hard. My turn. The LA Knights dodging gang tags on the court. Mom's rosary beads clicking as she prayed for my soul after she found my hidden Grindr app. She loves me anyway, I said, throat tight. But the teams. It's a minefield. One wrong look, and you're out. Ethan's hand found mine under the table. Brief, electric. Gone before I could flinch. You're not wrong for it, Alex. None of us are. That touch lingered like a phantom limb, replaying in my dreams on the flight home. His calluses rough against my knuckles, the what-if blooming wild. But reality crashed back mid-May, when my agent forwarded a tip. Ethan had signed a G League deal with the Clippers affiliate. A foot in the door, but whispers tied to a leaked story. UCLA's hail. Secretly gay? Sources say post-game hookup with rival. My blood ran cold. The byline traced to an anonymous tip. But the details? Too sharp, too intimate. The locker room talk, the Phoenix drinks. Betrayal hit like a screen I didn't see coming. I confronted him over text. What the fuck? Ethan? Using me for clicks? Radio silence for days. Then a call that crackled with static and regret. Not me, Alex. Swear on Dad. Some hack from the Bruin beat. I shut it down, threatened legal, but the damage. His voice broke, and I pictured him pacing his apartment. That same unraveling from championship night. It got to Dad. He asked if it was true. I lied. God. I lied to him. Rage warred with relief. The knot in my chest loosening just enough to breathe. Why should I believe you? Because I'm coming clean. All of it. Meet me? Neutral ground. Santa Monica Pier tomorrow. I hung up, staring at the ceiling fan whirring like accusations. Trust was a luxury in this game. Scouts lied. Coaches benched for politics. Teammates ghosted after the whistle. But Ethan's plea echoed, pulling me west on the 10. ocean breeze whipping through my open window, doubt and hope slugging it out in the passenger seat. He was there at dusk, leaning on the railing, waves crashing below like applause for a forgotten play. No jersey, just jeans and a faded Trojans tee, my colors, a white flag. Bought it at the gift shop, he said, sheepish grin. Figured it'd get your attention. We walked the pier, Ferris wheel lights flickering to life, the air salty with possibility. He spilled. The reporter, a disgruntled ex-teammate feeding lines, the frantic damage control. I outed myself to my agent first, he admitted, stopping by the arcade's neon glow. Told him the truth about us or whatever this is. No more hiding. The word landed soft, seismic. I turned, the crowd blurring, just him in focus. Wind-tousled hair, jaw set with that quiet steel. And your dad. Tomorrow. Full disclosure. Win or lose. He stepped closer, the space between us humming. But you, Alex, that night in Phoenix, wasn't just blowing off steam. You're in my head, man. All the damn time. Heart slamming. I closed the gap, our foreheads touching, breaths mingling. No kiss. Not yet. Not here with skee-ball kids and cotton candy haze. But the promise thrummed, alive and terrifying. Then fight for it, I whispered, like you do on the court. We parted with a fist bump that fooled no one, but as I drove back to campus, radio crooning some old Springsteen about glory days, I felt it. The shift, from rivals to something real, fragile as a fast break. Summer League loomed, separate squads but overlapping circuits, and the scandal's echo followed like a shadow defender. My phone blew up, supportive DMs from out allies, shade from trolls, even a call from Glad offering a statement. But Ethan's texts kept me grounded. Dad took it better than I thought. Love's love, son. Just don't fumble it. Followed by a selfie. Him courtside with his old man, both grinning, for pole be damned. We stole moments, a pickup game in Venice Beach, shirts optional, his laugh cutting through the salt spray. Late-night FaceTimes where he'd prop his phone against the dumbbells, spotting me through virtual reps. Flirtation crept in, subtle as a pick and roll. Missed that crossover, Reyes with a winking emoji or me firing back, your defense is slipping, too busy staring? It was light, but loaded, building toward something neither of us named. Then July hit like a heat check from hell. I was in Vegas for a showcase, Ethan in Orlando for his G League tryout, when the call came. His dad? Gone in his sleep, chemo's toll finally cashed. I dropped everything, canceled flights, begged off sessions, and flew cross-country, landing in LA with a duffel and a heart leaden as regulation time. The funeral was in Ohio, a sweltering church packed with hoops ghosts and small-town kin. I sat in the back, anonymous in a borrowed suit, but Ethan spotted me during the eulogy, his voice steady reciting Dad's favorite verse about running the race set before us. Afterward, in the receiving line, he pulled me aside to the vestibule, door clicking shut on condolences. You came, he said, simple, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. Couldn't not. I pulled him into a hug, full and unapologetic, his body fitting against mine like a well-oiled play. We held on, the world narrowing to sobs muffled in shoulders, grief's raw edge softened by shared breath. He was proud of you, Ethan. Every damn dunk. We flew back together, silent on the red-eye, hands linked under the armrest when the cabin lights dimmed. Ella welcomed us with smoggy indifference, and at his apartment, spare posters of Jordan and LeBron curling at edges, he finally broke. What now? He asked, pacing the kitchenette, microwave humming forgotten ramen. League's no place for this, for us. I caught his wrist, grounding him. Bullshit. We're pioneers, hail, or quitters. Your call. He searched my face, then surged forward, lips crashing into mine. Desperate, tasting of salt and second chances. It wasn't fireworks. It was a full-court press, all the pent-up rivalry melting into heat, hands mapping scars from old fouls, breaths ragged with release. We tumbled to the couch, clothes a tangle, but it stayed there, tender, exploratory, a foundation laid without rushing the build. Morning brought clarity, coffee brewing as we mapped next steps. Agents looped in, Teams flagged for ally policies. A joint interview pitched to ESPN as rivals to allies. But conflict brewed on the horizon. My coach summoning me for a chat about distractions. Ethan's G League brass side-eyeing his personal life. The betrayal from the leak, traced to his ex-roommate. A bitter walk-on spilling for spite. We pressed charges, but the scar lingered. A reminder that trust was earned. One possession at a time. Fall semester kicked off with a vengeance. Campuses alive with tailgates and tip-off hype. But our secrets simmered beneath the surface like a slow-build crossover. Ethan and I played it cool. Texts coded as scouting reports. Meetups disguised as film sessions at neutral spots like Runyon Canyon trails, where eucalyptus masked our whispers and the city sprawl below hid stolen kisses behind boulders. It felt like living in double overtime. Exhilarating, exhausting, every glance in the gym a risk-reward calculation. My Trojans geared up for another run, preseason polls slotting us top 5, and I buried doubts in drills. Sprints till my lungs burned, threes till my wrists ached. But Coach Ramirez pulled me aside after a scrimmage, his office reeking of stale cigars and old victories. Reyes, words circulating. You inhale? If it's true. He trailed off, rubbing his salt and pepper buzz cut, eyes paternal but wary. League's changing, kid but slow. Don't tank your shot before it tips. I met his gaze, chin up. It's true, coach. And I'm not hiding. The words tasted like victory Gatorade, sweet, earned. He sighed, clapping my shoulder. Then own it. But smart. We've got your back. Across town, Ethan's Bruins rebuilt around youth, him anchoring as the vet. But the scandal's fallout lingered. Boosters grumbling about image. Fans split between rainbow flags at games and heckles from the nosebleeds. He texted me post-walkthrow. Crowd chanted Hale's jailbait today. Laughed it off, but fuck. I fired back. They're scared. Channel it. Dinner tonight? My spot. My off-campus apartment. Cramped one bed in Echo Park. Murals splashing color on peeling walls. Became our sanctuary. He showed up with takeout from Roscoe's, chicken and waffle steaming, and we ate cross-legged on the floor. TV muted on a Lakers rerun. Conversation meandered. His dream of coaching someday. Turning losses into lessons for kids like us. My nonprofit pitch, hoops camps for LGBTQ plus youth in underserved hoods. We could team up, he said. Syrup dripping from his fork, eyes alight. Rivals united. Make it official. The idea stuck, germinating over lazy Sundays, but reality intruded like a charging foul. Mid-October, during a USC-UCLA exhibition, charity again, but stakes felt personal, the tension peaked. We matched up from jump, bodies a blur of blocks and bumps, the arena electric with that historic hate. Halftime score nodded. I stole a glance in the tunnel. Him chugging water, our eyes locking with a nod. We got this. But a reporter cornered him, mic thrust like a shiv. Ethan, rumors say you're dating the enemy. Comment. The feed caught it live, his face paling. Words clipped. Focus on the game, guys. But the damage rippled. My phone lit with texts from teammates. Handle your business, bro? Whispers in the huddle turned to stares. And when I checked back in, a freshman point guard muttered, "Don't let the ferry distract you." Thinking I wouldn't hear. It landed like a flagrant, red-hot and unjust. Postgame. Another USCW, but hollow. I stormed the visitor's side, ignoring handshakes, finding Ethan in a storage closet off the loading dock, back against cinderblock, head bowed. This is bullshit, I growled, slamming the door. They're turning us into sideshows. He looked up, weary but wired. I know. My agent's pissed, says come out official, control the narrative. But Dad's voice. Protect what's yours, son. He pushed off the wall, closing in, hands framing my face. You are mine, Alex. Worth every headline. We kissed then, fierce and forgetting, the world outside a muffled roar. But as we broke apart, panting, the door rattled. Security, voices overlapping. Hale? Reyes? Open up. Panic flashed, but Ethan grinned. Wild. Hide in plain sight? We emerged laughing, arms slung casual, spinning it as debriefing strategy. Cameras flashed, questions flew, but we stonewalled with charm. Ethan's dimple disarming. My quip about beating him at pool later drawing chuckles. It bought time, but the pressure cooker hissed hotter. November brought road trips, separation stretching us thin. I was in Seattle, dismantling the Huskies in a blizzard dome. When Ethan's call pierced the hotel hum, it's out, full blast. Outsports dropped the piece. Us, Phoenix, everything. Teammates sold pics from the pier. Betrayal round 2. Courtesy of a Bruins benchwarmer nursing a grudge over minutes. My blood boiled, but his tone, steady, almost relieved, cooled it. We pivot. Press conference tomorrow. Together. I flew red-eye to L.A., landing bleary-eyed at his side for the media circus. Flanked by agents and PR sharks, we stood at a podium in the Bruins media room. Lights blinding, mics bristling. Ethan spoke first, voice rock solid. Yeah, I'm gay. Proudly. And yeah, I'm with Alex Reyes, the guy who's pushed me harder than anyone on and off the court. Rivalry? It's fuel. Love? That's the fire. The room exploded shouts, shutters clicking. But I took the mic, hand brushing his under the table. Hate to burst the drama bubble, but we're just two athletes chasing dreams. If that includes each other, so be it. Deal with it. Laughter rippled, tension cracking, and as we fielded questions, when did it start? How's the team? I felt the tide shift, raw honesty turning skeptics to sympathizers. Backlash hit fast. Online trolls spewing slurs. A USC booster pulling funding with a family values clause. Ethan's G League coach benching him for focus issues. Isolation crept in, late nights scrolling venom. But we armored up. Workouts together at dawn, his place or mine. Bodies sinking in sweat-slicked harmony. One evening, post-spar, we collapsed on his balcony. City lights winking approval, and he traced my tattoo. A Trojan helmet inked on my rib, symbol of grit. This, he murmured, lips brushing skin, is why I fell. The fight in you. Intimacy deepened, not in frenzy but folds. Shared silences over takeout. His head on my chest during storm-swept movies. Mornings tangled in sheets, lazy and loving. No rush to labels, just us, building brick by brick against the storm. Climax brewed at the Wooden Classic, mid-December neutral site showdown in Honolulu. Palm-fringed paradise masking the powder keg. Pre-game pressers dripped tension. Reporters probing our relationship dynamic. Fans divided with signs. Love wins on the court versus keep it straight, hail. We bunkered in our hotel suite. A shared comp, PR genius. Mapping plays till midnight, then mapping each other till dawn. Tender, teasing, a release from the cage. Tip-off was war. Him driving baseline, me contesting with everything. The arena a cauldron of boos and bravos. Tied at the half, fouls mounting. Then the third quarter fracture. Ethan rolled his ankle on a screen, crumpling with a yelp that echoed my nightmares. I called timeout, dropping beside him as trainers swarmed. His face ashen, gripping my hand under the scrum. Finish it, he rasped, eyes fierce. For us. I carried that fire, sinking clutch jumpers, drawing charges like a demon. But with 2 ticks left, down one. His sub, a freshman, botched the inbound. Ball loose, I dove, fingertips grazing. Nothing. Buzzer. UCLA by a hair. The loss gutted me, but as confetti fell blue and gold, I pushed through the mob to him on the bench, ice pack blooming purple on his ankle. You played like hell, I said, sinking beside him, the roar distant. We, he corrected, pulling me close, uncaring of the lenses. Always we. But paradise soured en route home. X-rays confirmed a sprain, sidelining him for playoffs, scouts cooling on his stock. Worse, my agent called mid-flight. A top NBA team, Warriors, dream gig, offering a workout, but with a caveat whisper. Tone down the headlines, kid. They're traditional. Betrayal's ghost reared. Was love the fumble? The sprain mended slow, Ethan hobbling through rehab like a caged lion. Me splitting time between USC's playoff push and stolen PT sessions at his side. January thawed into February. The city pulsing with awards galore. Me up for Pac-12 Player of the Year, him snubbed amid the noise. We celebrated small. Tacos from the truck on Sunset, his ankle propped on my lap, laughter bubbling over spilled salsa. To underdogs, he'd toast with a stolen beer winking, biting ankles since 21. But the Warriors whisper nod, a serpent in our garden. Their GM couched it diplomatic. Great talent, Alex, but market fit. You know how it is, code for ditch the boyfriend or derail the draft. Sleepless nights followed, Ethan sensing the storm, pressing gentle. Take it, I'll be here, cheering from the cheap seats. His selflessness stung, a reminder of his own stalled path. G-League contract unsigned, agents dodging calls. Playoffs dawned brutal, USC clawing through the bracket. Me dropping 30 a night on sheer spite. Sweet 16 in Spokane. Ethan flew up, crutch under arm, front row with a sign. Reyes, Rivals MVP. It fueled me. Dunks that shook the glass, blocks that echoed, but post-win. In the locker room haze, a vet teammate cornered me. Congrats, man, but that hail shit? It's why you're slipping to second-round mocks. The words landed like a technical ejection from my own dream. I unloaded on Ethan that night, hotel bar dim and deserted, bourbon burning my confessions. They want me straight edge sanitized, like you were a phase. Tears pricked, unmanly in the low light, but he cupped my jaw, thumb tracing my lip. Then fuck 'em. We're phases. Nah, we're the whole damn game. His kiss silenced doubts, deep and devouring, carrying us to the room where we mapped futures on skin. His fingers spelling stay along my spine, mine etching love on his thigh. Dawn found us entwined, resolved. Come out louder, swing for teams that swung back. Elite Eight in Atlanta. The cauldron overflowed. Duke. Blue Devils in every sense. Their star a trash-talking titan who'd called us poster boys for PC ball in pregame press. Ethan watched from afar, live streaming from LA, his texts a lifeline. Block his ass. For dad. I did. Sealing the upset with a chase down. The buzzer-beater 3 arcing perfect under arena lights. Elation crashed as I scanned the crowd, wishing for his arms, not the obligatory hugs. Final Four in Houston. The pinnacle loomed, but fracture lines spidered. A leaked email, Warriors scout to front office. Reyes has upside, but the entanglement with Hale risks sponsor backlash. Pass. It hit the net like wildfire, fans fracturing further. My Instagram a battlefield of hearts and pitchforks. Coach Ramirez rallied the squad. Play for the name on the front, not the back. But in the quiet bus rides, isolation clawed. Ethan flew in for semis, ankle braced but spirit unbroken, meeting me pre-tip in a shadowed hallway, away from the madness. Heard about the email, he said, voice steady, pulling a crumpled printout from his jacket. They're idiots, but if it's me or the dream. Stop. I crushed the paper, hands framing his face. You're the dream, Ethan. The rest? Just noise. We clung, the world whittling to heartbeats, until a PA crackled, warm-ups commencing. He pulled back, eyes shining. Win it for the queers in the stands. The ones hiding. I carried that charge against Gonzaga, a slugfest of screens and steals, me orchestrating like a maestro, 28 points, 12 boards, the final pass a no-look beauty to the freshman for the dagger. Confetti blizzard, tears mixing with sweat. And on the podium, mic in hand, I shouted into the ether. This one's for Ethan Hale, the rival who taught me heartbeats hype every time. Love you, man. The arena thundered, cameras panning to him in the tunnel, beaming, and socials ignited. Reyes rival trending, allies amplifying, even LeBron retweeting with a fist emoji. But championship eve brought the gut punch. NCAA brass summoning me for a conduct review. Whispers of eligibility probes tied to public distractions. Betrayals trident, league, media, now the gatekeepers poised to strike. Ethan and I holed up in the team hotel, skyline glittering indifferent, plotting counter. Lawyers on speed dial, glad scripting responses, a manifesto brewing. We're changing the game, he said, pacing in boxers, fire in his step, or burning it down. Laughter broke the tension, tumbling us to the bed, bodies a tangle of affirmation. Slow, sacred, whispers of mine and forever sealing cracks. Monday night, championship versus Michigan in the Superdome. New Orleans humid pulse syncing with ours. 80,000 strong. Network lights searing. The tip arced high. We surged, me weaving through traps, dishing dimes that danced. Their big man fouling out on my drive. Halftime nodded. Ethan texting from courtside, VIP now. Fuck the rules, you're a storm. Alex. Unleash. Third quarter, I erupted. Step back threes, alley-oops that ignited the dome. But with 4:12 left. Up 3. A Wolverine elbow caught my temple. Stars exploding, blood trickling warm. I staggered, vision blurring, but waved off the trainer, channeling rage into a pull-up that splashed wet. Clock ticking, they tied it at the horn, overtime a blur of brutality. Double OT, legs leaden, I ISO'd top, faked right, rose left, swish. Lead. Their guard drove, I contested, whistle, foul? No, clean. Buzzer. USC national champs, first since '08, me MVP with 42. Elation, exhaustion, Ethan barreling through the scrum, crutches ditched, lifting me in a spin that defied gravity. Cameras caught it all. Kiss cam real this time, lips meeting brief but bold amid the chaos. We did it, he murmured, forehead to mine. Us. But dawn brought the hammer. NCAA clearing me. But the probe's shadow lingered, sponsors circling cautious. Ethan's G League offer materialized. Clippers blue, ironic homecoming, and my draft stock? Lottery buzz. Warriors folding under pressure. But the Lakers? Meeting scheduled, whispers of culture fit. June draft night in Brooklyn. Barclays buzzing, suits starched. Ethan at my side in a rented tux, hand in mine under the table. Commissioner's stage loomed, names called like executions or exonerations. My heart jackhammered as the Lakers pick neared. Number 12. Alex Reyes, USC. Roars, hugs, him squeezing my palm. Kobe's house. Fitting. We jetted back to LA. Parade down Figueroa, a fever dream of floats and foam. But quieter moments anchored. Beach bonfires with mom and his kin. Toasting to hail senior's legacy. Plans for that joint camp solidifying. Rivals united. First session summer 26. Yet humanism's lesson unfolded in the lulls. Not every conflict resolves in confetti. Ethan's ankle rehab dragged. A platelet-rich injection by time. But scouts eyed it wary, second contract iffy. My Lakers rookie camp? Intense. Vets hazing with love. But off-court. Paparazzi hounding our first public date. Dinner at Yamashiro, lanterns glowing, his hand over mine on the linen. Worth it? He asked, vulnerable flicker. Every foul, I replied, and meant it. Friendship's spine held us. Rivals' edge honing to allies' trust. Betrayals bite forging deeper bonds. Sportsmanship? Not handshakes at midcourt, but showing up bloodied. Choosing love over legacy. 1 year on, anniversary marked courtside at Staples. Me subbed early, him coaching AAU. We revisited that championship locker room, ghosts friendly now. From hate to this, he said, arm around my waist, city humming beyond. Lesson learned. I grinned, pulling him close. Yeah, win together, lose better. Rookie season blurred into a montage of flights and fundamentals. The Lakers' purple and gold machine grinding me from prospect to rotation player. Practices were purgatory, Kobe's shadow long, vets like LeBron schooling with a nod and a nutmeg. But Ethan's texts from his G League grind in Ontario kept me buoyant. Drop 25 tonight. Thought of your form on that last 3. Miss you. We'd sync in LA weekends. His apartment a haven of high-thread sheets and home-cooked fails. His mac and cheese a crime scene. Bodies reconnecting in rhythms honed by months apart. But cracks spidered subtle. Media milking our it-couple status. Puff pieces in Out magazine clashing with S-Ice distraction watch sidebars. A December loss to the Clippers. Irony's knife. Saw post-game mics probing. How's Hale handling your road trips, Alex? Staying faithful. I bit back venom, opting for he's my biggest fan. Next question. But locker room vibes chilled. A young guard muttering boyfriend blues after a turnover streak. Isolation echoed old wounds, but Ethan sensed it over FaceTime. his face pixelated but piercing. Talk to me. We're in this relay. I confessed the microaggressions. The GMs keep it low-key emails. And he nodded, fierce. Then amplify. Remember the camp? Let's launch it now, mid-season break. Invite the league's closeted kids. Rivals United took flight. A weekend in Santa Barbara, 20 teens from across the map, hoops drills by day, vulnerability circles by night. Ethan led breakout on handling pressure, sharing his dad's mantra. Race set before you, while I facilitated identity plays, mapping coming-out strategies like pick and rolls, watching him with those kids. Ankle brace hidden under sweats, voice steady as he fielded a shy point guards. What if they hate me? Then find your team, son. The real one. It hit. This was our legacy beyond rings or stats. Spring surged, playoffs looming, but Ethan's Ontario Blues faltered, ankle flaring in a playoff push, forcing him to the bench, then the IR. Fucking curse, he vented over a rare home game. Me sneaking away post-shoot-around to his place, finding him icing, eyes hollow. Scouts circling again. Injury-prone, off-court noise. Like we're the problem. I knelt, replacing the pack with my palm, cool against fevered skin. You're not. We're disruptors, shaking the foundations. That night, we slow danced to Coltrane on vinyl, his secret soft spot. Bodies swaying to sax swells, whispers weaving futures. Co-coaching gigs, a podcast on hoops and heart, maybe adopting down the line. Optimism bloomed, fragile as a floater, but rooted. Lakers postseason? A grind. First-round Clippers again, series a bloodbath of blocks and bricks. Game 4, Crypto.com alive with LA Fire. I dropped 18 off the bench, but post-win, Ethan waited in the tunnel, blue affiliate cap low. Heard the chants, he said, nodding at the fading hail no. Signs. Still stings. Nah. I lied. Then truth. Yeah, but you make it bearable. We slipped out a side door, driving Mulholland's twists, city lights a necklace below, pulling over at an overlook to stargaze from the hood. Marry me? The words tumbled unscripted, ringless but real, his gasp a meteor streak. He turned eyes wide moons. Alex. Shit, yes. But the league. Fuck the league. You're my championship. Laughter dissolved to lips, the night wrapping us in consent. A proposal etched in exhaust and eternity. Summer sealed it. Draft 2.0 for him, a two-way Lakers deal. Call-up potential, staying local. We wed quiet in Malibu. Toes in surf. Mom's rosary beads clinking with his dad's old whistle. Vows exchanged under a chuppah borrowed from a queer rabbi friend. In rivalry, we found grace. In love, our truest score. Honeymoon, a barnstorming tour of camps. Rivals United expanding to 50 cities. Testimonials pouring. You gave me permission to play whole. Challenges lingered. My sophomore slump. Turnovers ticking up amid contract talks. His call-up delayed by vet preferences. Rehab a relentless foe. A Sports Illustrated feature dubbed us the power couple putting pressure on the NBA. Praise laced with pitfalls. Can they coexist without colliding? Betrayals echoed faint. A former agent shopping tell-all dirt, quashed by lawyers. But we'd learned. Conflicts clarified, not conquered. One anniversary eve, courtside at Staples for a Lakers-Clippers preseason tilt. Him assisting now, clipboard in hand. We revisited the script. From that buzzer, he said, hand over mine on the rail. To this, sportsmanship's not gracious defeat. It's lifting your rival when they fall. I squeezed, heart full, and loving them through the fouls. The whistle blew, game tipping eternal, our story a highlight reel still spinning. Dramatic arcs, emotional rebounds, romantic swishes, humanistic heart. In America's grand arena, we'd carved our lane. Not flawless, but fierce. Unbroken.